Solo board gaming night here, and tonight I'm going to talk about my top 5 favorite deck builders. My number 5 is DC deck building game Rebirth. What I like about this game is the way the board is set up. It's set up in a circular form. You have to move around using your cards, your heroes, around the board, and in order to purchase a card, you actually have to be on the same space as the card you want to purchase. Same thing, if you want to defeat a villain, you have to be on the same space of where a villain is in order to fight him, and the fighting actions also show up on the card. It's a very fun game. It's not a quick game. It actually takes a while to play. It could take an hour or longer, an hour and a half to go through a game, but I enjoy it. It's not the best, but I do have fun. And one quick little fun bit here. There's a game called Transformers, the deck building game. It's actually made by the same guy that made the DC version, Rebirth. I'm very excited. It should be in the mail anytime soon. It was supposed to be here in August, and we're in September, and it hasn't gotten here yet. So hopefully pretty soon I'll be able to compare the Transformers deck building game to the DC Rebirth and see if Rebirth stays on my top 5. My number 4 is a game I enjoy very much every time I play it, and it's Clank in Space. Little quick story, when I first played this, I did not play it solo. I actually played it with my kids back when I was trying to get my kids to play board games. It wasn't until after that I found out that you could actually download an app that Renegade has on the App Store, and basically you'll get 5 scenarios in which it spoofs Star Wars, and you play 5 Star Wars spoofed scenarios. It's really cool, and it's neat because if you've played this game, you know that the cards are all references to our pop culture, and especially if you were born in the 80s, you'll know what I'm talking about. They just have references that are thrown left and right, and it makes the game really fun to play. One thing that I do like is that I've heard that in the first game, a lot of people would just run straight to the loot and run out. But what I like that this game does, if you're playing multiplayer, it sets up like security terminals that you have to bypass before the actual loot that you need to take becomes accessible. So it stops that player from just rushing in and rushing out. But as a solo player, this game is so much fun. It's more fun than it has any right to be, but I just absolutely enjoy it. I love the art, I love the gameplay, I pretty much love everything about it. The humor is spot on. It's a very neat game. So that's Clank in Space. My number 3, if you ended up watching my top 10 video, you'd probably see this one pop up, and that's Apex, the Theropod deck building game. This is the collected edition, and this has pretty much everything. And there's so many. There's even like zombie, half cybernetic dinosaurs, and this game has it all. I love it. I'm not gonna go too much in detail because I've already covered it in my top 10 video. But this game has. I love the art. The art just blows pretty much anything I have out of the water. It's just so well made. I really like the amount of different species that you could play as and fight against. They're so varied. So it's just doesn't feel, one fight can feel completely different from the next fight. And it's just a game that I always think about. I keep myself coming back to it. It is difficult, but like I mentioned in my top 10 video, there are difficulty settings, and I'll let you know on the card. This is easy, medium, hard. I really recommend starting off slow, going easy, and working your way up. There's no rush in this game. Learn how the gameplay mechanics, what the game expects from you before you start diving into deeper waters. That is Apex, the Theropod deck building game. I love it. I really do. And if you ever see this at the store, pick it up. You'll love it very much. It's a great solo game as well. My number 2 is actually a special one for me. If you ever go to my YouTube homepage, you'll notice that my banner has a very specific nemesis in the front, and that is Aeon's End. Now, I have the New Age box here, but it's Aeon's End as a whole. I have the whole thing. I have Legacy, the first Aeon's End. I have War Eternal, this one, and Outcast. I haven't. I'm just gonna wait for Legacy 2 to hit retail. I might not get that one right away, only because I feel like I got my fill in part 2. I ended up. This is one of the games that I ended up putting an insert in because there's just so much to it. I didn't want to have everything just everywhere, so I wanted to put them together in one box that's easy to reach and access. I was able to split it up into 2 boxes, the Legacy and this one. So yeah, I enjoy this game. It's a great deck building game. I love the way you have to manage your portals, how you have to open them, how you prep your spells, and then cast your spells, and how you can help your teammates. Now, I always play, and I know this sounds crazy, I played Legacy 4-player. I did it by myself. I soloed it, all 4 of them. And that was crazy. But I did it, and I actually had a lot of fun doing it. I really had a lot of fun doing it. Some nemesis, they're tough. They're really hard to take down, and they'll give you a fight, a really good fight. But something about this game is so much fun. It might not have the best art for everyone. It doesn't bother me. It's good. You know, it does its job. I like it. But it's the gameplay where it matters, and that's where it hits the hardest, and that's what I love most about it. So yeah, my number 2 goes to Aeon's End as a whole. My first honorable mention is actually going to be Star Realms Frontiers. Now, this is actually the co-op version, so you could play this one solo. And although I have played this multiplayer and I really enjoy it, this is one of the only games my kids will play with me because it's so quick to play. The solo version is actually really cool and neat. And the way that they do that is basically they set you up against an automaton, similar to what they do with Marvel Champions, where you go against the villain and the villain does all sorts of nasty stuff to you. Well, that's what attacks you and tries to destroy your ship. So yeah, Star Realms Frontiers is definitely going to make an honorable mention. And I know this is kind of cheating, and I've already mentioned this in my previous video, my top 10 video. I know this is not a deck builder, but it's a bag builder, and it works so much like a deck builder. It's just, you pull tokens out of a bag. And I just want to always mention Warp Sedge whenever I can, because I have such a great time every time I play this game. I even got the upgraded tokens, and I just love it. If you've never heard of it, or you've heard of it but never thought anything of it, and you're a solo gamer, this is a true solo only game. It must be in your collection. It's a must have. My number 1 deck building is none other than Marvel Legendary. Now, this game actually has a little bit of a sentimental value to me, and I'm going to let you know why. A little over a year ago, I lost my grandmother. It was a really, really difficult time for me. Like, it was almost unbearably difficult. She raised me, and she left behind a lot of memories that I'll always cherish for the rest of my life. She meant the world to me. She basically raised me when I was a kid, and I owe her a lot of gratitude and thanks for all she's done for me. She's shown me and my family so much love, and she will be missed very dearly. When she passed away, that's actually how I became a board gamer. Because right after that, we were right in this pandemic that was going around, and I really was trying to keep my mind occupied. And I figured I always wanted to try the board gaming hobby, and I decided to give Legendary a try. It was after I had tried Funkoverse that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this and try to keep my mind occupied. I ended up picking up Marvel Legendary. That was the first deck builder I had. It was the first card game that really made me enjoy pretty much card. I never really thought anything about cards other than collecting baseball cards or sports cards or playing poker or blackjack. That's what I thought cards were about. And Legendary obviously showed me that there's so much more to it. I'm not sure, and I'm pretty sure it's not the first deck building to have existed. I'm pretty sure maybe Dominion was the one before this, but I never played Dominion. I played Legendary, and Legendary was the game that got me really into this whole hobby right now, apart from Funkoverse, which introduced me, but Legendary is what kind of cemented it. And everything that's come after it is really due mostly to Legendary. And yeah, this game I'll always remember why I got into board games. I'll always remember how I got into it and why I love it so much. It's so many things in one. This hobby really means the world to me. And I'm glad to be a part of it. It's awesome, and I want to see, and I can't wait to see what else it has in store for us. This has been Solo Board Gaming Night. If you made it all the way over here, thank you so much. Thank you for enjoying this video and just sitting down and spending some time with me. You guys all have a great game night. Take care.